Welcome, fellow Toastmasters and guests. This meeting of the joint meeting of Manchester Communicators and Digital Communicators has now begun. Guests, please note that in order to be a member of Digital Communicators, you must be a current or former active member of Toastmasters or completed at least levels 1 and 2 of Pathways or the old CC manual. For Manchester Communicators, it is a community club and you can actually join without any prerequisites. If you've not already done so, please change your panel to ensure it says your name and your role if you have one. Select rename to do so. We have members and often guests from throughout the world. Thus, as a professional organization, please be aware of language or words used that may be considered offensive or otherwise insensitive due to cultural differences. Please note that we'll be recording the meeting. Your video and audio contribution may be used for club marketing purposes. Also, finally, please mute your microphone when you are not speaking. I'd like to welcome our Toastmaster of the day. Please give a very warm hand for Azra Muslim.
Thank you so much, President Nick. Fellow members and guests, greetings. Welcome to our very special session today, 31st of May. You might be wondering, what's so special about today? There are so many reasons. It's our joint meeting with our sister club, Manchester Communicators. Number 2, we have the honor to have with us District 91 Table Topics champions, Andrew, to give us handy tips on table topics and share his experience. Thank you, Andrew, for being with us today, despite being so very busy. Number 3, we are going to walk down memory lane. I'm sure for many of us here today, childhood is the best part of our life. And all the stories that we have to share, I'm sure this session would not be enough. And as you might have seen on the agenda, we had 2 greeters, we have 2 Toastmasters of the day, and we also have 2 table topic masters. Watch out and stay with us. Special finally, because we are all here together. The family of Toastmasters, the 2 club, we are all special. So a big thank you for all of you who are present today with us in our joint session. Without further delay, help me in welcoming our timer, Toastmaster Vincent, to introduce his role today. Over to you.
Hello, good evening. I'm your timer, and I can sadly have to inform you we are already running late. But I quickly give you indications of when you see the yellow background, do you know that you're inside the middle of your speech? And when you see the red background, which have not disappeared, you will know that you have to come to an end. And when you see green, you are still going well. I have to upload these virtual backgrounds again because they somehow disappeared. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much, Timer Vincent. So let's get started. We have with us the district champion, Toastmaster Andrew, who is going to talk to us, walk us through table topics. Let's tackle table topics, an interactive educational session. Thank you, Andrew, for being with us. And over to you for your knowledge, which you're going to share with us.
Thank you, Toastmaster Azra. And I think in just a few moments, I shall have Toastmaster Nick joining me as well. If you unmute, lovely. And unmuted, please.
Hi, Andrew.
Hey there, yes, hi, Nick. Hi, Nick. You had a question for me, didn't you?
I had a question, yes. So one of the things I'd really love to do is to ask lots of questions. And it's a really good job that I actually write a lot of these questions down, which actually gives us a lot of ability to remember.
Didn't you want to ask me some directions or something?
Well, actually, yes. I mean, I was going to ask you the way to Deansgate in Manchester. Do you know the way?
Well, you see, it's impromptu speaking. Well, I haven't been to my Toastmasters meeting yet. If I go to my Toastmasters meeting, I can practice table topics and then I can speak to you, okay? So if you can just bear with me, please, Nick, and wait until Monday week, right where you are. I promise I'll come back and I'll tell you exactly where Deansgate is, because I'll have practiced my impromptu speaking because I'm a bit nervous, you see.
You promise?
I promise, honestly.
Okay, we'll meet you back here. Thank you.
Digital Communicators, Manchester Communicators, all those wonderful guests out there. It's good to see you today. And we are going to tackle that topic. Yes, that table topic. Of course, we all do a lot of impromptu speaking in daily life. If you're going to direct someone the way to find their way down the road, you don't suddenly panic and say, oh, I'm going to have to practice my table topics. You just go straight ahead and you speak. If you want to choose which coffee you're going to have in the coffee shop and the assistant asks you a question, you answer automatically. Those are impromptu speaking moments. What changes for us is the context of our impromptu speaking. It could be that really, really very important job interview, or it might be an interview for a college situation, or it could be that terrible moment in the Toastmasters meeting when they look along the gallery view and they say, it's going to be your turn. The Toastmaster tells you that they're calling you up to the front to give that table topic. And wow, that can be quite a scary moment. In this little educational, I want to tell you a little bit first of all about my table topic journey, and also to give you lots of hints and tips about how you can manage that situation better so that you actually enjoy giving table topics. Now, do you believe that you can really enjoy giving table topics? Raise hands, please. Let me see those hands. Yes, some of you are convinced and some of you aren't yet, but we'll see at the end of this talk if you're a bit more convinced. Well, here we go. My own table topics journey. I promise you that for the first 12 months that I was in Toastmasters International, I didn't answer a single table topics. And the reason was I was always doing another role in the meeting or giving a prepared speech. And as we tended to ask the guests to do table topics and then one or two members, I just never got chosen. So I sat there very quietly. I'm convinced that I actually evaluated table topics before I'd ever participated in one myself. Isn't that a shocking admission today? But I'm pretty sure it's true. So my very first table topic came at an area contest during the ballot counting. The person who was running the topic session during ballot counting knew me and called me up to the front and gave me a topic. And I had to go in front of all those Toastmasters in person. Well, I got up there and I will say I kind of enjoyed it, but it didn't quite give me the bug for table topics yet. Last year, a Toastmaster called Nick Westall at Excalibur Advanced Speakers said, Andrew, what are you going to do with your Toastmasters program now? You started your pathways, you've done your DTM in the historic program. What are you going to do this year? I said, well, it was just a weird thought. I thought, well, I'd like to have a go at the table topics contest this year. And so I remembered that when the time came in the autumn, and I set out to do the table topics contest. And we'll hear a little bit more of my story as we go. But that is my very first point for you this evening. If you want to improve at table topics, and you can, you need to step up. When the topic master asks for volunteers, you put your name in the chat. Any opportunity that you get to do a table topic is going to help you move forwards. And I have a quote from a speaker called Andy Harrington. He says, impromptu speaking is something you can learn over time, and you can become better at it. So step up and accept the possibility of doing a table topic. We're all there to support you as you make that move. Volunteering is the first step. and be willing to participate. My second magical step for you in table topics is going to be this one. Be a listener. Be a listener. Normally, when you're called to give your table topics, the topic master will repeat the topic twice. So you need to listen both times. It's very easy when you hear the topic for the first time just to start panicking or letting your thoughts go racing. You need to be listening in table topics so that you can capture that topic exactly. It's designed to help you that we give the topic 2 times. It helps you to remember. One time might not quite be enough. And also, when you have that moment when maybe you're opening your camera and coming to the speaking space, or if you're lucky and you're an in-person meeting, you're walking up to that stage, you've got time to clock through the thoughts in my mind and your mind of how you are going to start the table topic. So be a good listener, listen carefully to the topic that's given. The next step is to get into a sense of flow. You can repeat the topic if you like at the beginning. Now, as you've progressed and you get more organized in your table talk speaking, you might not need to do that. But if you need to repeat the question when you start out, why not? It'll help to give you confidence. It helps you to launch into the topic. As I say, as you progress, you may not need to do that, but maybe there's a key word in this topic. Maybe it's an agree or disagree, and you have to take a position. Or perhaps there's something that starts you on a personal story or anecdote, something about music, a holiday, a family member, a friend. You have got so much information stored up inside you and in your life story that you can use in your table topics. It's all there waiting to be accessed. So just listen carefully to that topic and start off using your life experience to answer those topics. I wanted to give you a little example of a topics coaching today. And so I've invited Toastmaster Ma Carno, and she's going to come and she's going to answer a topic for us. And then I am going to coach her in that topic. Ma, thank you for coming to the stage. Thank you for accepting the challenge. You're always one up for a challenge, Ma. I know that. We need to unmute you, please, so that you're nice and comfortable.
Sure.
Yes, let's give a wave to Ma. That's wonderful, Ma. So, Toastmaster Ma, tell me about the big opportunity. Toastmaster Ma, tell me about the big opportunity.
Big opportunities. I don't know, but I have the feeling that every single day there's a big opportunity to learn something new. Don't you think so? If I had to choose a single big opportunity, I don't know. I'm not sure which one I would choose. Let me remind an opportunity that I had some months ago. There was a fellow Toastmaster that you all may know called Julian Cericeda, who invited me to consider a proposal to join a club. Yeah, who hasn't had that experience before? Yeah. So then I thought, well, I'm already in a club, but then what will happen? That's an advanced club, and I'm just a beginner. I've only been, in Toastmasters for 1.5 years. So what should I do in an advanced club? Am I going to be, the right person, the right type of member to be there? There I went. I said, Mar, this is a big opportunity, isn't it? Come on, why not? You're a Toastmasters. What does a Toastmaster says when someone asks you to join to do something as a service? Those Toastmasters here, what do you do? Do you say, oh no, sorry, no, better not? Or you just say, yes, come on, why not? I'm a Toastmasters. So then there it was. My big opportunity came kind of real dream. So I became part of Digital Communicators advanced class. And here I am enjoying, learning, having fun with lots of, members and people from all over the world, and great fellow Toastmasters from whom I'm learning a lot. So if you want to take a big opportunity, just make it happen.
Well done. Let's
fellow Andrew
a wave. Fantastic work. Fantastic work. I'm so pleased you did that, Mar, because you have brought up a lot of the points that I'm going to be raising within the next few moments, and you've just demonstrated them beautifully. What was great, Mark, was that you started off talking about your feelings. And when we talk about our feelings and perceptions, we connect with our audience, whether we're connecting through the camera or we're on stage. So that was a great start. You used a question, and that question involved your audience to get them thinking, to get them to have an opinion. Very good. You evolved a personal story, your story with digital communicators. And as I'm doing now, you started to use gesture. For about the first 30 seconds of the topic, you were just using one hand. By the real middle of the topic, you were using both hands beautifully, and they were congruent. You were underlining the words, so the gesture was coming from inside your word, and that was really excellent. At one moment, you used a pause. Magical to be able to use a pause. It allows you to gather your thoughts as you continue the topic, and it allows us as listeners to digest your words. So that was great. The whole thing opened out beautifully, and I was going to make a point to you about the ending, because the ending is a summary, very important, but you did something I'm going to be speaking about in just a moment. You closed the circle, Mar, at the end, which was fantastic. So I shall explain that in a second. Mar, it was really, really successful topic. You looked great on camera and you sounded very much at ease. Thank you for doing that for us this evening. Here we come. So as I was saying, Mar did something fantastic. To get into the flow of her speech, she started to use gesture. Facial expressions, hands, arms, demonstrations. If you're talking about a topic where it's swimming, go for a swim. If you're running, go for a run. Anything, use demonstration in your topic, because movement helps you to get into flow. It takes away the feeling of self-consciousness and concentration on ourselves, and it moves us out again towards the audience. Do use gesture. We want our audience to be an active part of the topic, not just sitting back watching what's happening. Let's get them involved. Let's make them part of our topic together. Gesture and words work together, each feeding off the other to create the story of your topic. The more physically engaged you are, the better it is. My next point is that we should try to answer the question, and we need to close the circle. By answering the question, Mar did it. I gave her the big opportunity. She spoke about a big opportunity. And when I say she closed the circle, in her final sentence, did you notice that she came back and she mentioned the opportunity again? She brought us directly back to the subject of the topic. That is a really useful thing. And I shall give you another cheeky comment here, but if you find that you've got a very difficult table topic to answer and you have to slide around a little bit to get there, provided you bring us back to the subject at the end, I bet the audience won't even notice that in the middle you did some very interesting deviations. So make sure that you close your circle at the end by mentioning again, if you can't remember the topic master's words by then, it doesn't matter, but give the idea at least of what the topic was about to make it nice and rounded at the ending. Please remember that table topic stories, do you know something? They don't have to be true. You can make them up on the spot. No one's going to interrogate you. Another point is that they can be very exaggerated. Maybe you've got a story in your past and you start to tell it. Well, why not make it bigger and bigger and bigger so it fills the screen or it fills the stage space so that everybody's excited and engaged? It's the speaking that counts. It really is the speaking that counts. So you can have fun with this. Just enjoy your stories to the hilt. And if you have to make them a bit larger than life, does it matter? I don't think it does. I really don't. Signing off then, the sentence that includes the audience in some way, and maybe a question or a challenge if you can. Leave them on a feeling of high, and that's what Ma did extremely well. She left us on a high. She gave us closing the circle, and we were on a high. We felt that we really participated in an event by attending and joining in this table topic. Don't forget, the power of a smile can overcome 1,000 slip-ups with your words whilst you're delivering your topic. Remember to smile, enjoy the situation, have fun with it. Please, please step up to table topics. Now this evening, you've got two fantastic table topics masters. You've got Pei Chen and you've got Colette, and they will be giving you virtual hugs through the screen. They're so lovely. So you need to step up this evening and practice those table topics. There'll never be a better moment. Let's call it, we have icebreaker for prepared speeches. Let's call it Table Topics Icebreaker. Maybe you haven't done many. Make sure that you step up this evening. Step up to topics, be a listener, get into the flow, use the gestures. Try to answer the question and remember to close that circle. And as a little bit of inspiration for you this evening, I have an unofficial video clip which Nick is going to share with us now, and it is my district winning table topics. It was recorded on a phone. The official ones aren't yet out yet, so you're getting the sneaky preview this evening. I'm encouraging you to all take part in topics this evening. I hope this has been useful. And Nick has a word file for you. He's going to put it into the chat, and it's my table topics hints for you, so you can take it away in written form today. It's been great to chat with you, and enjoy the topic now, which is just coming up. Here we go.
Andrew Bennett.
Moderation, bar humbug, say I, just like Ebenezer Scrooge would do as well. Let's go for excesses, shall we, Toastmasters? I don't want to be moderate about things. I want to taste the best food in the world. Come and taste it with me now. I want those lobsters, I want those oysters, delicious oysters with the rock salt and the butter. I want to be able to taste the greatest wines in the world, the Chateauneuf du Pape, that just hits your palate with its tasty grape. I want to be able to see the greatest things in the world. I've seen some wonders, Niagara Falls, I've been and seen Machu Picchu, but I'd like to see even greater wonders in the world. I don't want to be in a situation where everything has to be modest and reined in. I want excesses, every single direction of excesses. If I read a book, well, what book do you think I want to read? Do I want to read a little tiny, measly book like this? No, give me a massive set of encyclopedias. If I want to go out and go dancing, do you think I want to go and dance a little jig like this? No, that's not for me. I want to dance something that involves a real fling, maybe a Highland fling even. So excesses are much the best. Absolutely no moderation, table topics, and no moderation, Toastmasters in this. Let's all go for the excesses of life. Are you ready to come and be really excessive with Andrew today? Come on, come and be excessive with me. Contest chair.
Thank you so very much, Andrew, for sharing with us the tips and for sharing your video as well. It's been a pleasure having you, and I wish you all the best for your upcoming session with your other club. All the best. Members and guests, as you might have noticed, today's session is special and dedicated to table topics. Andrew gave us the tips, and now it will be time for us to practice. Before we go into this, let me share with you something. Let me ask you a question. If I'm going to tell you the following line, don't talk to strangers, which story does this remind you of? Don't talk to strangers. Which story does this remind you of? Anyone? All right, let's give you further lines. Once there was a little girl, and her name was Little Red.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Exactly, Colette. This is a story that I still recall till date, and I can still hear my mother telling me, don't talk to strangers when you go out. Well, members and guests, tell us your stories now through table topics. Allow me to call our first table topic master. She recalls having fun playing with her neighbor's kids when she was a child. She is none other than Pei Rong Chen, the president of Manchester Communicators. Please join me to welcome her. Over to you, President Pei.
Good evening, and thank you very much. So for this session, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to put on your pair of rose-colored glasses and take a stroll down memory lane, especially to your childhood memories. Thank you very much, educational speaker Andrew Bennett, for getting us all prepped and warmed up on this topic. I'm sure it will be a piece of cake for all of you here to try your best to reminisce memories and recollections. And yeah, this topic could be about your family, your grandparents, your childhood crush, even maybe friends, adventures, scary moments, your dares and first, best, and worst. So fellow impromptu speakers, make sure you pin the timer, Vincent, and take us away, make us feel twinges of nostalgia. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna just go randomly to call on the first contestants. And I just wanna make sure, can I call Adrian? Yes, Adrian, I see you, and how are you? So Adrian, my question for you would be, if you have a time machine and you could go back in time, what would be the earliest memory you would go back and why? So which day would be the day that you choose to go back in your earliest memory and why? Adrian.
Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests. Toastmaster, Table Topics Master Pei, thank you for the question. If I had a time machine and if I could go back to my earliest memories, where would I go? There are so many good memories that I have. And I think I would like to go back to a time when my mother and I were able to connect. You see, my mother and I did not have a very good relationship. And when I became about a teenager to a young adult, my mother was very sick at this point. And it was very important for me to figure out a time for us to really connect. And so I had this great idea of going to the movies with her. And so I said, Mama, let's go to the movies together. Let's do something tonight. She was shocked. Could not believe her baby daughter would want to go to the movies with her mom. And we did. And it was such a wonderful time for me. We got to talk one-on-one. There was no fighting. There was no screaming at each other. It was just a pleasant time sitting with my mom, watching a movie together. Ladies and gentlemen, if I had a time machine, I would go back to the time I took my mother to the movies before she passed away. Back to you, Table Topics Master Pei.
Wow, thank you so much, Adrian, for sharing that with us and very intimate, close account with your mother. And that was very beautiful. Thank you. Moving on, next, I'd like to call on Anthony, please. Anthony, are you ready for a question? So Anthony, can you please tell us, can you recall what is the most mischievous work you did with your childhood companion, childhood friends, the most mischievous work you've done with your childhood friends? Anthony.
Thank you, Madam Topics Master. So many to choose from because I have to say, you can probably tell by the glint in my eye that mischief and myself were firm friends when we were growing up. Possibly the worst thing that I can think of was when we had just turned into that teenage corner of our lives. So we were about 13 and 14. And my parents had gone out for the evening. So I invited all of my teenage friends around, 4 or 5 of them. We played cards until we ran out of money. We were only boys, so there was no suggestion of strip poker. But we decided that what we would do instead was raid my dad's liquor cabinet. And my dad liked to travel to lots of exotic places. So there was great ouzo from Greece. There was, of course, whiskey from Ireland and Scotland, vodka from Russia, and one after one, we began to taste them. Lose a hand in cards, you had to knock back a shot. And a hand of cards, as you probably know, take about 30 seconds. I lost 11 hands in a row. 11, not 3, not 5, 11. I don't have enough fingers for 11. But I had enough fingers of alcohol to drink. And I had to be carried out of the room in the end. And when my parents returned, the noise coming from the room was a little bit loud. I wasn't even in the room at the time. And my dad had to come in and eject all of my friends, throw them out. One of my friends dropped a bottle of vodka on the door he was trying to smuggle out on the way, and it smashed, creating even more furore. So that's probably about the worst thing that I did, Madam Toastmaster. There were plenty other tales, but they'll have to wait for another day.
Thank you so much, Anthony. That was surely very naughty of you boys. Moving on, I want to call on Uma, who is a member of Manchester Communicators. Uma, are you ready? I've got a question for you, Uma. Could you tell us, please, one incident that happened in your childhood that has affected you till this day? One incident that happened in your childhood and has affected you till this day. Uma.
Thank you, Table Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Very good evening. The one incident that affected me till this age, yes, I can think of so many, but one I even think each and every time, each and every day in my life is before spending a penny from a pocket, I would always think it is worth of doing that. Whatever I'm going to do, is it really a worth of spending that money onto it? Is if I cannot live without that, is what the single thing I always think about that. This is something I got from my mother. My mother has always been in a middle class family where she has gone through a lot of difficulties, and she grown up all three children in a family. She always taking care of the entire family. Even though she is not a working woman, she's taking care of the entire family with the less money she's getting from my father. So she always thinks that whatever we ask, even if you ask her 2 biscuits from her, she'll say 1 biscuit today. Tomorrow is the next biscuit. If you ask 2 puppet from her, she'll say, no, we got just 3 puppet. You have to eat only 1 today. There is 2 for the remaining siblings. So always, whatever you ask from her, she always say that No, you can keep yourself hungry for some time, then your mind works a lot. Okay. So if you're keep having it till your neck, you may feel lazy and you may sleep or after some time. Okay. Your mind will not work. So always what my mom says that keep yourself hungry. You will search out always. A lot of options will come to you. You'll go and look around. You'll find a lot of options. So I myself always think before spending any penny from my pocket, is it really a worth? I can't I live without this? This what are the single question I asked to myself. Thank you, Madam Table Topic Master, for this question.
Thank you so much, Uma. And that was a really intelligent piece of advice from your mother. And thank you for sharing that with us. Well done on your, thank you, Uma. So ladies and gentlemen, I've got 10 more minutes. So let me call on, is Elizabeth around? Yes, Elizabeth, are you ready for a question? My question to Elizabeth is, what's one thing that you miss or treasure about your childhood? What's one thing that you miss or treasured about your childhood?
Thank you, Table Topic Master and fellow Toastmasters and fellow guests. One thing that I miss about my childhood, I think now in the realms of working from home and having to pay all the bills and being an adult, a real life adult now, I think what I most miss these days is looking back at a time when I was in school, particularly when all you had to worry about was, did you do your homework, making sure you have your uniform on, making sure your shoes were polished. I think that definitely appeals to me now, whereas, you know, constantly being online, working not 24/7, but pretty long days sometimes, and being constantly on demand. I miss those responsibilities of all you have to make sure, you know, you can show up in class on time, be there in body, not there in mind, and you can check out. And being able to, you know, hang out with your friends at the weekend, during school as well, seeing them every day. Yeah, no, definitely looking back on that and making me appreciate all the nice memories I have in secondary school in Ireland. But yeah, thank you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth, for telling us what you miss most. And certainly it does, it does, I can with you. Ladies and gentlemen, I've got my next person on my list is Brenda. Is Brenda there?
Yes, I am.
Oh, hi, Brenda. So
hi.
Brenda, I'd like to ask you, do you ever had an experience of returning to the house you grew up in? And if so, what was the most vivid memory of the home where you grew up?
Thank you, Table Topic Master, for the wonderful topic which you have given me, which actually took me back my childhood days. I would say now I am living in a 2-bedroom apartment, which is quite spacious. And we are only 3 people here. And if I tell you clearly, I'm sitting in the hall and my husband is sitting in one room and my daughter is sitting in another room. But if you ask me, I don't enjoy this big space. When I was in my childhood, we had just only one room where 6 of us used to stay. Myself, my brother, sister, my parents, and my grandmother. It was such a wonderful experience, though we were maybe below poverty line, I would say. But if you ask me, the place where I want to go back is the place where I studied and where I got born and brought up. That is a place in India, the southern part of India. And that place is always in my memory forever. And that space has given, nowadays kids are looking for the privacy and those things, whereas though we stayed in one room, we got well connected with our family. and we never expected a smartphone or too much privacy from parents, and we are well connected with the parents and we got good values from our parents. So if you ask me, I would say that I want to go back to the house where we stayed 6 people in one room, and there is no kitchen also as a separate one. So I thoroughly enjoyed that period. And if you ask me, I would like to go back to the same place where I grew up. Thank you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Brenda, for bringing us back to your earliest memory of the home that you grew up in. Moving forward, let me call on Sri Lavanya. Are you around? Yes.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I hope I'm not pronouncing your name wrongly.
No, you spelled me correctly. I'm not sure. My father given me a big name.
Thank you. So let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Okay. So what accounts do you recall from your early childhood of the interactions with your grandparents? What were they like?
Can you please come up the question again?
What accounts do you recall from your early childhood of the interactions with your grandparents? What were they like?
Yeah. Thanks for this question. I'm so glad to share this. We are 5 people, 5 kids, and my parents were working, and my grandparent, I have only my grandmom. So she's the lovely, and she used to tell some stories about what is going around. So if any insect or animal is going around, she'll ask me to see the move on, how it's moving, and what is their aim. So it always keeps me occupied about that animal or insect, what is it's focusing on. So that kind of interaction I liked from my grandma. And she always do something in cooking that made me interested in learning something cooking. So she always inspired me. She's the single person who managed 5 kids at a time in the house. After she went, I lost that kind of interaction, and I'm so happy to share about my grandmom.
Thank you very much, Sri Lavanya, for sharing that with us. I've got 4 minutes left, so I'm gonna try to squeeze in one more person. And I wanted to check, Ahmed, are you around, Ahmed? Yes, great. Ahmed, I'm gonna give you a question that is slightly different from the other questions that I've given to the participants. So my question for you is, let me just, Okay, can you share with us your very early recollection when you were scared of something as a child? When you were scared of something as a child, and what you tell us that experience? Thank you.
When I was a child, the only expectations that my parents had is to score full marks at school. This seemed impossible for me, but I tried my best to achieve this target. One day, my father asked me to clean one room in our house, and because I had no experience in cleaning, I just cleaned the room as fast as possible, and I left out to play. My father came out and he gave me one look that I still remember until now. Just looked at me like this and left. Now in June 2015, I was leaving KBR office in Leatherhead, going to central London. Central London is a very lively place. I wanted to enjoy my weekend. The train went to the first station, leaving Leatherhead. The train operator called the second station is Ashted. Again, the second station is Ashted. I remembered not doing one thing at work, so I had to go back to work and correct what was done wrong. I remembered that one of my colleagues did one design mistake in one of the engineering drawings. So I had to fix that mistake and leave the joy and happiness at Central London. This is called integrity. This is doing the right thing when no one is watching. This is what my father taught me. And this is what the core values of Toastmaster should teach each one of us. We serve with integrity and respect to achieve excellence. This is what my father taught me when I was a child. And I hope that the core value of Toastmaster teaches every one of us the same. Thank you. I'm back to you, Madam Tabletop.
Thank you very much, Ahmed, for that, for expanding that. I enjoyed your table topics as well. So now, in the interest of time, I'm gonna pass the microphone back to Asra, our Toastmaster of the day. Thank you very much for participating, everyone. Well done.
Thank you so much, President Pei, and thank you for the questions where everyone got the chance to go back to their childhood and share with us moments that are still vivid to them. Thank you so very much. May I now call upon our second table topic master. What can I say about her? She is someone who just a text and she's up to take the role. Please help me in welcoming Toastmaster Colette. Over to you.
Thank you. Can I share my screen, please? Thank you. This is my first table topic for the evening. Which of these two stories is your favorite? And give us a brief on the story using vocal variety. So you can see the picture there. You've Little Red Riding Hood and Goldilocks and the Three Bears. So which of these two stories is your favorite? Give us a brief using vocal variety. And I am going to ask Angela, please, to answer that one.
Well, it's been a long time since I had childhood stories, but I believe my favorite of these two is Goldilocks and the Three Bears. I don't even recall why she was going through the forest, but, but she was. And she came across a house that she went into, and there were 3 settings on the table. And she wondered, what is this? There was a small setting and a medium-sized setting and a very big setting for the food. So she sat down and decided that she would eat the medium-sized setting. And the bear came out. The Papa Bear came out. Who's eating my porridge? And Goldilocks said, oh, I didn't know. It was your porridge. I'm so sorry. And she moved over. And the Mama Bear came out and said, now, who is eating my porridge? And Goldilocks said, oh my goodness, what is going on in this house? And so she moved over to the little one. And then the little baby bear came out and said, Mommy, somebody's eating my porridge. What is going on? And Goldilocks was so flustered. She jumped up and the table fell and all the porridge fell. And she ran out of the house, and the bears were standing on the porch, waving goodbye and saying good riddance to this curly-haired human. Thank you, Mrs. Table Topics.
Thank you very much, Angela. Very, very enjoyable story. Now, the next table topic, we can see the seven dwarfs. We have Doc, Grumpy, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Sneezy, and Dopey. So have a look at the seven names again. And I am going to ask our producer, Nick Lecani, what two characteristics could he say he relates to as an adult from that childhood story?
Well, Colette, what wonderful questions. And I'm sorry, but you know, the two traits that I absolutely possess are bashfulness and just pure physical attraction. But they don't appear on there, do they? Well, actually, one of them do. I suppose I am bashful. And also, I think as a youngster, I was probably happy, as I remember. One of the key things is that our minds plays tricks on us. And what we want to do is to get back to, oh, do you remember back then? Do you remember how when we were kids, we used to do this? And at the time, it seemed fun, yes. It seemed like the biggest thing, yes. But as every year got older, you think, oh, that's for small kids. We don't want to do that. We want, you know, so we set ourselves standards, don't we? We set ourselves little goals, little hurdles that we push ourselves over and over every year. And that's what we do as humans, because what we do is we learn by doing. And that's what we did from the beginning. We learned by playing, and adults learn by doing. What do I remember about the Seven Dwarfs was? Well, there were so many of them. It was actually quite difficult to read them out or remember them or recall them without tripping up on a Sneezy or a Bashful or a Happy or Happy-Go-Lucky. I don't know. I sometimes forget, but that's the point, isn't it? We always need to remember that our minds can play tricks on us. We had a good time when we were young. Yes, it's great to actually have fun and remind us of our days. And ultimately, in summary, just relive each of those moments, those feelings, at least once every day. Put a big smile on your face, put a big smile on somebody else's face. Back to you, Madam Topic Master.
Thank you very much. Very entertaining. Thank you, Nick. Now we'll go on to the next one quickly. Tell me your favorite childhood story. Tell me your favorite childhood story. And I'd like to ask Hilary Thorne, please.
Excellent. Thank you. My favorite childhood story has to be The Monster at the End of This Book by lovable, furry, old Grover. And if you don't know this story, you are missing out. The book starts off innocently enough with the title page that says The Monster at the End of This Book. And Grover says, "This is an interesting page. I wonder what's on the next page." And as you turn the page, Grover starts to realize, what did that say? That last page, what did it say? Did it say there was a monster at the end of this book? Oh my goodness, I am so afraid of monsters. And then Grover starts to plot how to stop you from getting to the end of this book. First, he pleads, listen, if you do not turn any pages, we will not get to the end of this book. And that is a good thing because there is a monster at the end of this book. That doesn't work. I turned the page anyways. Then he tries to tie the pages together. This will stop you. It did not stop me. Not once. I turned the page again. Grover is pleading, please, I'm terrified of monsters. I know, I will build a brick wall. This will stop you from turning any pages. I turn the page anyways, and before we know it, we are at the end of the book. And guess what? The only monster at the end of the book was lovable, furry old Grover. And he told us over and over again that there was nothing to be afraid of. And that is my favorite childhood book that I read to my son to this day. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much for sharing that, Hilary. Now we'll have another one really quickly. And I want you to have a look at this picture. So you have been tasked with writing a childhood story. And that's your brief. You can see the child there, the tiger and the shoes. So just have another quick look there. You've been asked to write a childhood story, and I'm going to ask Pam Rowley, please.
Thank you so much, Colette. I owe you one. So if I had to write a childhood story, starting out on my bike, I spent a lot of time on my bike as a child because I was desperate for a pony, but I couldn't have one. So I turned my bike into a pony. So it had a name, and I used to put it in the stable in the back garden, which was really the garage. There was even a bucket in there, I'm afraid. I had a very good imagination. So my bike was my pony. So I'd be going out on this pony bike into the woods. But in the woods, there was a tiger or a cheetah. I'm not quite sure what it was. And I, going back to books, thought it was the tiger that came to tea. So because I was on my pony, I lassoed the tiger and took it home. Because remember, I've got a stable at home, so the tiger can go in the stable next to the pony. So I'd take this tiger home for tea, maybe taking it in the house with me, because that was the other thing that I was always getting in trouble for. I grew up in the age where we had latchkey dogs, you know, where dogs used to just roam the streets. So before I actually owned a pony or a dog of my own, I owned all the equipment. So I had a dog collar and lead, and I never went out without one. So often when I was out on my pony bike looking for tigers, I also looked for dogs and very often took them home. But I thought it was okay to put them in the stable in the back garden. So often when I'd been out on a bike ride, my mum and dad would have to go out and release the local stray dog that I'd caught. But going back to the story on your page, Colette, I've been out on my pony bike, captured a tiger that I brought home for tea, but it decided I was a tea. So I put on my running shoes and managed to get away from it. Back to you, Colette.
That is so funny. Have I time for one more? Have I time for one more? Okay. Sorry. Okay. Who's the next victim? I'm only joking. Okay. Which character do you like the best from these top 10 Disney characters? And just tell us why. So which character from these top 10 Disney characters do you like best, and tell us why? And I will ask Martina. I don't think I've heard you speaking. Please.
Sorry, I had difficulties to unmute myself. Thank you, Colin, for this question. I would kind of wish to put back the picture, but I think I have a memory of at least a few of the characters that you mentioned, that you showed there. And whilst I don't recall the names of all of them, I could probably give you a few of them that I liked a lot. Probably my favorite, or the one that I can remember the best, is that big bluish greenish monster from the Monsters Inc. film. That I don't even know why I enjoyed that film so much, and I can't remember the name, so very sorry. That one, number 8. But I'm pretty sure that for those who saw the film, he's very familiar, because in the beginning he appears to be, his only purpose in his life is to scare the kids. And he believes that this is how life should be. And then he meets this little girl, but she's not scared of him. She finds him funny. That's offending. Your purpose is to be scary, and someone is laughing at you. How many times were you upset that someone was laughing at you when you tried to be serious? Towards the end of the film, they create a bond to the point that he doesn't want to leave the girl. But as any good story, he had to make a choice. And ultimately, he saves the girl and he manages to come back to his back monster life. But he's changed. He's not anymore the scary, big, fluffy monster that is scaring the kids. He changed his idea and he changed his mind about how kids should bring the energy. It's not the scream anymore, it's the laughter. And that's what I like about the story the most. And that's why I like this specific character very much. Thank you, Colette.
Thank you very much, Martina. Now we'll have another one quickly. Sorry for this. Okay, now this one. Tell a scary story that teaches a child a lesson. Tell a scary story that teaches a child a lesson. And I'm going to ask Elena, please.
Thank you, Table Topic Master Khalid. I am grateful for having this question on telling a scary story that teaches a lesson. In my experience, most stories, if not all stories, do teach you a lesson, and that's the whole point. We inherited that that previous experience of people that teach us a little bit of wisdom of how we can move along. I know that we have all grown up with different stories depending on where we grew up. I know that I grew up in Eastern Europe, where it was quite popular to tell children that Turbalan, or a scary big guy, is coming to kidnap you during the night. So you should be tucked in pretty good in order for him not to scare you. And you also need to be very, very quiet so that he doesn't find you. I know that doesn't teach us much of a lesson, but it does teach you a discipline and allows for your parents to have a good night's sleep that they've been lacking for a while. So probably this is more of a lesson for the parents of how you can treat a story and use it in your advantage in order to scare the children and make them do what they want. Because after all, you're their parent, they should listen to you regardless of what happens. And that's all my stories. So thank you very much. Back to you, Colette. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Elena. Now I have one more. And okay, if you have a look at this screen here, they're all different quotes from children's literature. And I'm going to pick one and ask someone to put it into whatever context they want to. True courage is in facing danger when you are afraid. And this comes from the wonderful Wizard of Oz. True courage is in facing danger when you are afraid. And I'd like to ask Marcano, please.
Thank you very much, Colette, for the wonderful quote that I can actually remember very well. So you may share it to me at some point again, if you don't mind. True courage. True courage is just jump into a table topic question when you don't really know what you have been asked. Yeah, what do you think? So it's not only about facing danger. It's about facing everything that's in front of you with the best attitude, being confident, being and feeling that, of course, whatever that happens, you can do it, that you will be successful, that you will overcome whatever that comes in front of you. Now, can I ask you a question? Can you recall a moment in your life, maybe a moment in your childhood, when you felt you had the courage to face a challenging, a difficult, hard situation? If you can't, don't worry. That's what happened to me. Right now, I was like, Mar, what situation can you recall when you had the courage, to do that when you were a child? Maybe because I have a Dory's memory. Do you know about Dory? Nemo? That's me and my memory. So that's what happens when you want to recall things and you can't. But still, there I am, brave enough to jump in front of the screen and share whatever that comes to my mind in a table topics meeting and session like this one today. Back to you, table topic master Colette.
Thank you very much, Mar. And I'll hand it back now to Toastmaster of the Day, Azra. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Colette, for these wonderful questions and for all the interactions we have had with the members and guests. Now I have the pleasure to hand over to Martina to proceed further. Over to you, Toastmaster Martina.
Thank you, Azra, and thank you, Faye, and thank you, Colette, for your wonderful questions. Now, because I was involved in the competition, I think we should do some voting and see whether I'm the winner. So I will post the link, and please go and vote for me because I want to win. So I will give you the link in the chat. I'm near the bottom, so please scroll down if you want to give me a vote. Thank you, Adrian.
You do realize everybody's going to vote for themselves.
Well, so far it looks like. And not everyone. Let me actually share my screen and show you the results.
I think Hillary missed the trick there. It's okay to vote for yourself, but this is fine.
Guys, there were a few people. Oh God, no one wanted me. That's unfair. Well, never mind. I have to congratulate to Adrian and Uma, who got the most votes. So congratulations. I'm not very happy with you tonight, but I will have to bite my pride and take it. But Adrian and Uma, watch me. For the rest of the evening, I would just like to ask a few people how did they feel about this evening. So I would like to ask a few of our guests. Ahmed, how did you like this special session? Have you heard about digital communicators and Manchester communicators before, or what brought you here tonight?
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and most respected guests. I fairly enjoyed your tonight's meeting, and actually I knew about digital communicators through my friend Mark Cano, who invited me a while ago, but I was not able to make it back then. But fortunately, I remembered the name of the club and came today. Thank you very much for allowing me to be part of your meeting tonight, and wish you a very successful journey for both clubs. Thank you very much, and back to you, Toastmaster of the night.
Thanks, Ahmed. Another guest, Anthony, you had a wonderful table topic as well. you were very mischievous as a child. So what did you think tonight about the meeting?
Oh, very poor. Really, it started badly. It tailed off in the middle, and the less said about the end, the better. It was really good. It was good fun. It was different. There are a lot of innovations here. I know a bit about this club because I've looked into it. I've been looking for an interesting online club to come and join. And I've found a few out there that I'm toying with at the moment, but I haven't yet found anywhere that I can call home. I came and joined in for your very first meeting, but you had about 290 people at it. So I'm glad to see that it's calmed down a little bit, and but you still have the same enthusiasm and verve and passion. So lots of great people here. Lots of great people here, and I'll definitely pop my head in the door again if you'll have me.
Thanks, Anthony. And well, honest about being in many clubs, hopefully you will ever settle to any of these two at some point. Now I will ask the two winners. Adrian, I'll start with Adrian. How did you find your table topic question tonight?
Martina, I'm glad you asked. Fellow Toastmasters and honored guests, I thoroughly enjoyed it. In fact, I have been doing a lot of introspection lately, and thoughts of my childhood have been coming up. So I appreciate the opportunity to think about happy memories, and I am very grateful that we had a different type of table topics. Most of the time we have very different table topics depending on who the table topic master is. But this one was a little bit more, I think, personal. And I'm glad that we got the opportunity because it also allows for you guys to get to know me just a little bit more and for me to get to know you a little bit more. So back to you, Martina.
Thanks, Adrian. And thanks for sharing your personal stories and letting us to get to know you a bit, because you could have also decided to completely lie about it. That's the table topics, right? Uma, I'm glad you managed to join in the end. So what did you take away from tonight?
Takeaway for me, before I talk about the takeaways, there are two things I wish that I shouldn't be questioned about as a cartoon characters, you know. I was very much scared when somebody is going to ask me about the cartoon's character. I'm never fond of those cartoon characters. I never watch. After having my daughter, she used to see a lot of cartoon channels these days. I sit with her, I enjoy it thoroughly. When Colette showed me some of the cartoon characters, I couldn't recognize even one of them. I know very few from there. If I'm glad that I have not asked any such question. I've not been asked any such questions. I could not even speak in 1 minute if that question would have been posted to me. So yeah, because recent days cartoon character is what I watch that is not there in it yet. Other than that, yep, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It has gave me as Andrina said, like it is something the personal thoughts in our previous memory. It gave some time to crunch about it. Yeah, so I really enjoyed it. Yeah.
Thanks, Uma. Thanks. And I would like to give a word also to the presidents of our two clubs. So I will start with the producer and Digital Communicators president, Nick Lakhani. Give a few words about the meeting and how did you feel tonight?
No, what a wonderful meeting, lots of fun. What I really like about the fact that we have Manchester Communicators and Digital Communicators, two sister clubs joining together on the fifth Monday of fifth Monday, and it comes around 4 times a year. We do something different. It's fun, it's interactive. We've got members of both clubs involved. We've got guests in the room as well. Last time we did the debating. This time it was a table topic event with Andrew, who's the table topic champion from District 91 this year. And one of the key things about this was, let's make it different, let's make it fun. And I've certainly would put a smile on my face today with the events that were going on, what I've seen, what I've heard. And the main thing is, let's just do more of this. Back to you, Martina. Oh, sorry. Thanks to Azra and yourself for leading the two teams from the two clubs to put everything together. So well done for everybody behind the scenes. Thank you.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Azra. I have a question also for Pei, who is the president of Manchester Communicators. How do you recall this evening? You also took on the Table Topics Master role, and I really loved your questions. So how did you find it?
First and foremost, thanks very much for our BPEs from both clubs, from Azra from Digital Communicators and Martina from Manchester Communicators for organizing this event. It's always very, there's always a lot of unseen work going behind the scenes. So really appreciate both of your time here. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, our audience, visitor guests, thank you for sparing tonight's time to tune in, especially on the bank holiday weekend where the weather is so attractive outside, but you chose to sit in front of the laptop and be here together. I enjoy, as with always, I really enjoy these kind of joint sessions because it gives a different variety and you see different guests and different faces. It gives much more diverse dynamics, if you like, than a normal meeting you would expect in a normal club. So I just want to put in a little bit of advertisement for Manchester Communicators. We will have we are currently changing hands of the new committee team, and we have our president, the new president who will lead on, which is Elena Serafimova, our fabulous greeter of tonight. We also have Uma, who's signed up for VPE and taking on great responsibility, even though just recently become a member of Toastmasters. So I really applaud both of their courage. I know they're gonna be awesome teams. Our next meeting will be on the 7th of June. And if you would like to have a sneak peek on just to get to know us, we're a very friendly bunch. You're more than welcome to sign up. Our meeting is listed on Eventbrite. That's where you would book it. So yeah, thank you very much for this opportunity. And I shall pass back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Martina.
Thank you, Pei. Thank you. And I noticed we also have one more addition, someone else who just joined us. And I'm wondering if Ola is able to speak. Ola.
Hello, nice to join this great family, the Toastmasters family meeting. I'm really sorry for joining a bit late, but I guess I've missed a lot and I'll definitely catch up on the recorded videos.
It's okay, you joined at the end. We say that the best comes at the end. So according to this saying, you are the best.
Thank you so much. It's a great honor to have that accolade at this late time hour.
Thank you. I actually would like to invite one more person to speak, which is a person who didn't have much speaking tonight, and it is our timer, Vincent. How did you find the evening?
Good evening. Yes, I've been your timer, and I hope you'd like the timing cards because they are obviously artistic and they will show you the green is green, but green is not just green, it has a little bit of yellow in it. And if you see the yellow color, it has a little bit of red in it. So this gives you sort of an idea that whatever we have to do comes to an end. And our session tonight is also approaching from yellow to red, as far as I understand. Isn't that right, Martina?
That's very correct.
Okay. So it's been a pleasure. I enjoyed the meeting. I always do. To give you some other background so that you know how to find me, because Digital Communicators is a global club and we are all in different parts of the world. So you can see me here just on top of my missing hair. So if you want to see where we're all coming from, maybe we all put up our little virtual cameras and show us where Europe ends and Africa starts. Thank you.
Thanks, Vincent, and thanks for describing your artistic backgrounds. Now I got the sense after you described. So with this, I would like to close the meeting. However, feel free to stay and to chat and to discuss with members of either club and to maybe speak about more of your childhood stories. But thank you for tonight.
Thank you, Martina. I'm going to keep the recording going just for a couple of minutes, if that's okay. I'm just going to talk to one or two other guests and just to see what their takeaway is today. So Hilary, what's your takeaway from today's meeting?
Oh, it was great to be back into Toastmasters. It's been a couple of years since I've been a part of a club, and it was really great to see the virtual format and how you guys interact in the virtual format and make it engaging. And I am definitely already gonna book for the 14th to see kind of what, because I know this is like a joint format, so maybe a little bit different than your regular meetings, but I really enjoyed it. And it was, table topics, it was a perfect question for me. It was literally, I think you made it for me and you didn't even know it. So it was great to be a part of it. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank you, Hilary. Well, basically what happens is the first and the third Monday is Manchester Communicators, and the second and the fourth Monday is Digital Communicators. And you can see, for example, in the chat, we've got links to our next meetings on there, or you can just Google us, you'll find us. All right, let's go to Elizabeth Sarah. Please tell us, what's your takeaway from today's meeting?
Hey, it was really interesting to see the digital aspect, especially because I'm working from home a lot and obviously using digital devices. But it's great to see kind of like all the quirky touches, and I really liked the flow of it, especially the educational piece. That was really impressive at the beginning. So yeah, no, I'll definitely be keeping an eye out for a future invite. It was really exciting to come in and sit in on this one.
That's great. So great to see you. Great to see all of our guests today. I believe all the guests have had a chance to actually give feedback. So thank you. I'm going to switch off the recording. And at this point, we normally have a nice chat or an after party.